Dr.
Okay.
Salman, he will talk about vaccine approved by WHO. Yes, you can start.
Okay, thank you very much. And the vaccines, which, as mentioned by Dr. Shakir, there are about, roughly speaking, 186 vaccine in the market and under experiment. 87 of these already achieved what is called stage 3. And out of these, only 17 actually reach what is called stage 4. WHO approved 3 of these vaccines for COVAX. Basically, WHO recommended that national regulatory bodies approving the vaccines. As you know, that each country in the world, in the US, FDA, in Britain, MAHRA, and the European Medical Agency across the 27 European countries. In addition to that, each country actually around the world, they have their own system of approval. The vaccines which are approved by WHO now are Pfizer, and Pfizer, they didn't have more than one version. It's the version which is produced by BioNTech, which is a German company. I mean, a lot of people saying Pfizer is an American vaccine. This is not true. Pfizer is an American company, but the vaccine is a German vaccine. The AstraZeneca, they have 3 outlets, more or less. The UK production, and this is not only in the UK, but also across Europe. This is approved by WHO. They have the the South Korean outlet, which is already, again, approved by WHO, and in India, the Serum Institute. There are 3 other vaccines which are in the process of approval by WHO. The Sinopharm, it's still under assessment by what is called SAGE. SAGE is the expert committee for vaccination by the WHO. The second vaccine which is under assessment is Sinovac. The Sinovac, again, in progress, but hasn't been approved yet for distribution through COVAX. And the Moderna is still under the assessment. So the vaccines with the various production sites so far available for us through COVAX are the Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and the Janssen or Johnson & Johnson. The Janssen one, again, a Belgian company paired with the Johnson & Johnson as a single-dose vaccine. The other 2 are, as Dr. Shakir mentioned, 2 doses vaccine. Let me say a few words here, which are very important to reiterate what Dr. Shakir said without duplicating. First of all vaccines are safe. And as he mentioned beautifully, there is nothing coming under medicines or vaccine without a risk. I'm not aware of any medicine without a risk. But here we need to balance between the amount of the risk available from taking certain medication, including vaccine, and the amount of the risk without the medication and without the vaccine. And we know now from the data available to us and the graph presented by Dr. Shakir, beautifully showing that all vaccines actually protecting against the virus. And most importantly, the data from United Kingdom about AstraZeneca vaccine is provide 100% reduction in hospitalization. And the UK tomorrow, Monday, will declare officially, possibly the first country in the world that achieved what is called herd immunity. And this is a great achievement. This is a great achievement on few fronts. Number one is the dedication of medical staff and public health people and the government. That's on one hand. And secondly, is really the commitment of the people to accept the vaccine, despite the negative publicity which was actually received across Europe about the thrombosis and the clot, which you heard about it. The British public actually went to the centers immediately after that intensive publicity to receive the AstraZeneca. And I know I actually was in one of these centers recently, and myself and my family received both doses of AstraZeneca. You know, people offered them Pfizer and Moderna, which is now the 3 vaccine available across the UK. And the young people said, no, I want the AstraZeneca. And this is really great confidence in the system, and believe the commitments of the health professional and the commitment of the politician to the cause. Yes, there was dithering from our politician at the start to apply the public health measures, which, as we know, these measures very important in breaking the chain of transmission of the disease. The second point which I want to raise, that please, we need to accept and we need to advise our patients, our public, you know, at every single occasion, that any vaccine which is in the arm, injected in my arm, is a good vaccine. There is no need to ask which vaccine is this. Leave it to, you need to trust your government. You need to trust the judgment of the public health people in your country. You need to trust the availability of the vaccine, because some of the vaccine, if you take, for example, Egypt with 110 million population, if they decided tomorrow to take Pfizer vaccine, you know, finding enough a fridge to keep the vaccine in a temperature of -70 is mission impossible. It's truly mission impossible. Not only that, finding sufficient number of syringe, which is called low pressure syringe. By the way, not these syringes which use in the vaccine are specific syringes called low pressure syringe. And the cost of it between $3 to $4. And you need to look at low income countries, how these logistic are actually available to these countries, and how politicians and public health authorities will be able to overcome the challenges of the logistic. So we need to be sympathetic with them. Being critical is so easy, but being able to deliver the vaccine to the people, to protect them in all these circumstances. I know I serve on many SAGE committees in many countries, including WHO, IMRO, and I know the difficulties these countries trying, you know, to overcome on daily basis. All what they receive are criticisms, negativism. And I think unless we avoid that and become positive, as Dr. Jassim Al-Azawi, our good friend, was mentioned, how the trade union, like the medical association, is collaborating fully with the government to ensure that they would overcome these logistic difficulties and able to receive the COVAX vaccine, as well as, in addition, having direct contact with the companies to secure the number of doses needed that will take them to the level of protection, which we call it herd immunity. My last point is that whatever the approval of the vaccine and which vaccine is approved, we know this is important. The more we have vaccines approved, the better, of course. But the reality is the people acceptance is very important. And vaccine hesitancy is growing in many parts of the world. And the question is why? Why this is growing in such way and in such volume? This is very easy because many of misinformed medical people and politicians are willing to appear in the media, you know, television, radio, as well as the social media. They write whatever they like based on no evidence, and they support no scientific support for that. This is truly a risky situation. I mean, I'm seeing across Europe, people are hesitant to use the media in any negative way. You see the positive attitude of our medical colleagues, our health colleagues, our politicians. And this is how it should be, because unless other countries in the world, you know, receive the vaccine, even if we reach herd immunity in London or Washington or Berlin, this is not good enough, because our freedom restricted unless the rest of the world have sufficient coverage by the vaccine. And this cannot be achieved unless the public accept the vaccine. And I thank you very much for listening. And we hopefully address some of the questions. I already followed some of the questions from many colleagues. Thank you, Professor Maythan.
Thank you so much, Dr. Salman Al-Rawaf. Now, Dr.